Welcome to week 3 of riding my horses from Mexico to Canada. In this episode I'm struggling with wolves getting way too close to my camp. I'm gonna be stuck in the dark, in the desert with no water. I finished my last water about 12 hours ago. And I'm getting a crash course in how to put back on horseshoes. Our adventure continues in the Gila National Forest, so let's take a look.
Ja, wat moet ik dus zeggen? Op die hoogte is het water ook niet zo allemaal.
For the next 2 days we're gonna ride alongside the Gila River, which is very remote, so chances are I'm not going to encounter anyone. But that also means that there are no roads crossing for a very large portion of the route, so my dad can't get to us with the sport vehicle. So for the first time I'll have to spend the night on my own. So we packed some hay on top of the pack saddle as well as some alfalfa pellets inside. I got my own gear here, so this is the first time spending the night alone. I'm excited! Of course I practiced putting on a pack saddle many times before departure, but this is actually the first time that we're loading it up on the trip itself. And also putting that hay on top is the first time, so it's kind of experimental. So I'm a little nervous that I did something wrong and that it will create a problem like a saddle sore or something. But I checked the saddle around 20 times, so I think everything should be okay. I am worried about camping out on my own for the first time. This morning it took quite some time to get ready because I needed to think about everything I would need for the night, and it's kind of out of the ordinary routine. So we left late and now I need to make sure we don't get to camp in the dark. Doing this is really good practice because once my father leaves, when we leave New Mexico, I have to camp out on my own for 5 more months. Sometimes this horse can be so annoying. He starts walking out in front of us, and whenever I get close, he starts trotting. Always just staying out of reach. And he's got all my stuff. So, why doesn't he just get over here? Well, finally decided to stop. It's so important that you make sure that always one horse is secure, because if one runs away and the other one follows him, then they have no reason to come back to you. But if you always hold on to at least one horse, the other one will return. If we want to make it to Canada before winter, then I need to average around 100 miles a week. So that means 20 miles a day for 5 days and then 2 days rest. But keeping up that pace is quite stressful because there's just so much to do and still so much to learn. I often find myself stressing out about getting on the road quick enough in the morning and then reaching camp at a reasonable hour in the evening. So yeah, it is tough, the days are long and hard, but we just got to do our best and we have no choice if we want to make it to Canada. Been on our way now for 4.5 hours and we're about halfway there, so it will probably take us another 4.5 hours to get there if nothing goes wrong, and that means we arrive just when it gets dark. That's not ideal because normally you like to have a little buffer between when you arrive, when you plan to arrive and when it gets dark, because you're most likely to get hurt or make a mistake when it's dark and you can't see anything. We're now making our way down to the river where we're going to camp tonight, and we still need to cross it a bunch of times, but it's getting dark very quickly now. So we're really in a race against the sun because I don't want to cross the river 4 times in the pitch black. Okay, we're now at the river, about half a mile from where I originally wanted to camp, but I see that here are some nice flat spots too where I can pitch a camp. So I'm going to leave the river crossings for tomorrow when I can actually see something. I just took off the pack saddle, so this is the moment of truth. There is no real reason to be concerned because everything looked really straight during the day. But just this being the first time that we put an actual load in the pack saddle, I'm kind of nervous that something has rubbed and that she might have a sore. Again, there is no real reason for thinking this, but I just got this feeling, you know? Okay, let's see. Okay, that looks very good actually. This is actually exactly what you want to see. Dry spine, no sweat on here, so you know that nothing is touching or rubbing on the spine. And then this just very equal and sweaty. Well, I'm very happy. I just hung up the hay sacks and gave the horses some pellets, and now it's time to make my bed. It's not going to rain or anything tonight, so I'm just going to sleep outside under the stars and make a mattress out of my saddle pads. There aren't many better ways to fall asleep than under a sky full of tiny lights. Well, that doesn't seem too uncomfortable. Well, it's dark, I'm alone, and there's no cell service here, so I guess there's nothing left to do for me but go to sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I just woke up. I didn't sleep very well tonight. It was really cold outside and this sleeping bag is very warm, but I was barely comfortable when I completely curled up in it. Just kept tossing and turning a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna take care of the horses, see if they want to drink something, see if they want to eat something, and then back up and go. Everything I know about the wilderness and surviving in it I learned from my dad. He's a certified wilderness guide and he has a company where he teaches people on how to survive in nature with almost nothing. Already when I was a baby he would take me in this carrying sack underneath his raincoat and he would go out in the woods, build shelters, make a fire, and I would look up at the sky through the trees and just be amazed. Of course I don't remember any of that, but that's what he told me. And now 20 years later he's here resupplying me with water and hay in the dry state of New Mexico. Having him here is a huge help because especially in the beginning as I'm still figuring everything out, having him as a practical but especially as an emotional support just makes all the difference. And we're on our way again. Today we need to cross the river a bunch of times. It will be okay, but it's always a challenge crossing a river on horseback. But at least your feet stay dry. Ooh. We already had quite some river crossings today and my feet are soaking wet because at some point the river got so deep that the horses actually had to swim for a few feet because of a beaver dam. So far it is going pretty well. Only moving through this river terrain isn't going very fast because, well, crossing a river just takes some time and sometimes, it's quite hard to find a trail. This gorge that the river runs through has some challenging terrain because you need to make your way over rocks, around trees, through bushes, and through the river, of course. It's probably one of the most beautiful parts of the journey up until now, but I'm also happy when we make our way out of this gorge. We just climbed our way out of the gorge, up the mountain, and I'm sweating my ass off. Last night I was freezing my ass off, now I'm sweating my ass off. That's what you always hear about the desert and this high desert country. It gets very cold at night and very hot during the day. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely true. Well, we have a problem. Jesse lost a shoe between camp and here somewhere. So now we need to find a place to camp as quickly as possible and then get a farrier out to put a new shoe on there. This will delay us a couple of days. That rocky terrain, I was saying already, this is tough terrain, and well, she tossed the shoe. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to go to the nearest place where my father can get to us, which is around 5 miles. And then we're going to try to get a farrier down there as soon as possible, which probably won't be easy to do. I found something closer by where my dad can get his truck. It's only a mile away and I really want to stop as quickly as possible because I have very little experience with hoofs and I don't want it to wear out or anything, and I just have a bad feeling about it. So 1 more mile and then we should be there. So I found a campground that we can stay for a while, and I just got off the satellite phone with my dad, and he was able to find a farrier that can come out here the day after tomorrow, which is really great because finding a farrier on such short notice in the middle of nowhere really isn't easy, but he managed to track one down. Okay, it's now 11 p.m. For some reason my dad isn't able to find his way to me. I sent some messages with the satellite phone, but that thing is from the 80s or something. It's like this brick, so it's not working very smoothly. I'm going to set an alarm for 3 hours, and if he hasn't found me then I'm going to walk to the nearest water source, which is around 4 miles away, I think. But this is really not okay because my horses haven't drank anything since this morning and there's no water out here. Alright, my alarm goes in 3.5 hours. If I haven't heard anything from my dad by then I'm going to saddle up the horses at 2:30 in the morning and I'm going to ride to water because it is dangerous for a horse to not drink. They can colic, they can get problems with their digestive system, and they can die from that. We'll see in a couple of hours what happened. It is now 3 in the morning and I managed to saddle up my horses. I finally started receiving some messages on my satellite phone again. Apparently sometimes it just takes hours for them to arrive. But apparently my dad got stuck with his truck and he couldn't make his way towards me. So now we need to walk towards water, towards the nearest lake, because the horses haven't drank anything since this morning and I finished my last water about 12 hours ago. So we're all pretty dehydrated. It's about 4 miles to the lake. So it's not too bad, but I'm tired and I'm thirsty. Oh boy. Hey.
Oh, sorry man, dat ik er niet doorkwam. Afschuwelijk is dat.
Ja.
Dus dan gaan we terug naar, weer naar waar je vandaan kwam.
Ja, ik ben net 5 minuten onderweg. Dus...
Oké, je hebt alles opgezadeld natuurlijk weer.
Ja.
Ze hebben dorst. Nou.
Ja, ze hebben echt heel veel dorst. Okay, so apparently my dad made it out of that road that he was stuck on because he just drove towards me. So, well, that's pretty nice because now I don't have to walk 4 miles all the way to a lake. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Ooh, God. Oh.
Hey.
Well, the tent is set up, the horses are eating, so we're finally ready to go to bed. I'm so tired, but I'm happy everything went okay and that the horses got something to drink within a reasonable, well, not really reasonable, but within a, well, not disastrous amount of time. This day was basically a disaster because I lost a horseshoe and we got stranded without water. The communication sucked and I was too reliant on my dad getting to me with the support vehicle, because as this example proves, there are just situations where he cannot get to me. But we survived, we got some rest, and now we got the ferry route here, so we're ready to get going again. So what do? I lift up?
So can you hook her leg in between your knee?
Oh yeah.
I'll just try to hit it straight down.
Yeah.
Seems like if you're broke down, lose a shoe.
Yeah.
Take a rock and you can it'll help set your nail in a little deeper.
Oh, it's the same as that block thing
right.
that you...
Yeah, and so you just go, it'll help set your nail in.
And you do that after hammering it over, or?
Yes, after
Yeah,
you bent the nail over where it's safe.
After what she
So we got 4 new shoes on Jessie, and with Zeke's shoes we put on borium, which is very hard, so they last longer, and Jessie's shoes didn't have that, but now we put in the tungsten steel rods, which are also very hard. It's kind of the same stuff apparently, so I hope this will last us a long time. And also I got a speed course on how to put back on a shoe in an emergency, and I'm getting my emergency kit put together. But really, thank you so much
very
for
welcome.
coming out here on such short notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good luck. And
Yeah.
if you need anything, get a hold of me. I'll try to help you out best I can.
There were 2 main things that went wrong in this situation. One was the communication and the other one was me being too reliant on my dad reaching me with the sport vehicle. We really need a shift in mindset, because there is just always a real possibility that my dad cannot reach me because maybe he gets a flat tire, or like in this instance he got stuck. So that means that every evening when I'm making a plan, I'm going to assume that my dad won't be there once I arrive. And that means that I'm going to take more food, more water, and I'm going to look for a place to water my horses beforehand. The communication we're going to fix like this. We now got a Garmin InReach, which is way more reliable for sending messages. They basically arrive instantly like a text message. So I think that's going to make things a lot easier for us. This was definitely a rough week, but I believe every time things go wrong and we make a mistake, it is a great opportunity for us to learn from it and make the whole expedition better and safer. We've now been on our way again for 2 days, and these last 2 days went really smoothly, so that is very positive.
Een beetje interessant.
Well, it's the last day of a pretty turbulent week. The first few days were pretty heavy, the last few days went pretty smooth. But today we got to do 23 more miles through the middle of nowhere in the mountains. So I'm curious what we're going to encounter today in terms of challenges and everything. But it's already getting late, so let's get on the horses. So, how are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Miguel.
Eric, nice to meet you.
Eric.
You guys are looking for antlers, right?
Yeah.
And did you find any already?
We found a few.
couple.
These guys have picked up a bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Hey. Yeah, it's going well with you.
Good. Nice seeing you.
Yeah. And are they worth anything? Like,
Yeah.
Like if you find a decent pair, what does a decent pair of antlers cost?
You're probably looking about a couple $100.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so that might be worth packing on the horse then.
Yeah.
That's gas money and feed for the horses.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna go on my way. And, well, have good luck finding antlers. It was very nice to meet you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you so much.
Have a safe journey, bro.
Thank you so much. Once again, the terrain is pretty challenging. It's very rocky, and I figured this part of the trail hasn't been maintained for some time because there are a lot of dead trees that you either need to get over or get around. Surprisingly enough, we're making pretty good ground today. We're going pretty quickly, so I hope the day goes smoothly. We're now walking on the edge of a very steep and high mountain, and when I look down here I do get kind of dizzy. We're very high up now and it's very remote here, and that's really cool because you get some amazing views. But it's also kind of an eerie feeling because if something were to happen to me here, it would be pretty hard for anyone to get to me because obviously you're not bringing a car up here, and in this terrain you can't really land a chopper, so I'm not sure what they would do actually. Maybe just throw a rope down or something. I was saying it yesterday already, but the weather is really changing because I just felt some drops of rain, and in the distance you could actually see the rain falling out of the sky. And that reminds me that it won't always be as nice and sunny as it was out in the desert, and there will be some very cold and windy, rainy days ahead of us. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, we wandered through the dark for over an hour. In the beginning of the day, my app said it should have been like 23 miles, but we did closer to 26 today. It is now 9:15. It is dark. I'm very tired. It was a good day, so I cannot complain too much, but after 11 hours in the saddle, I'm quite done. So we're gonna pitch our tent. We're gonna make dinner, and I see you guys later, alligator. Those are no coyotes. That's not a coyote. How far away is that? That's not that far.
No.
It's real close.
It's on the hill on the other side. It's just, I think, 600 meters.
We got some wolves real close to here. So I'm gonna keep my axe close tonight in case they come for the horses. So where I was just walking with the horses in the dark, you can hear those wolves howling. They're so close by. They're right where I was at just like an hour ago or something. That's an eerie feeling. That's really an eerie feeling. I don't want to encounter a wolf in the dark with 2 horses.